Welcome to the Director's Cut podcast, a part of Storytime Radio Show. In this podcast, we feature stories that didn't make the final cut for the live radio show, but they are excellent stories and need to be shared. This story is by Reenie Fetters for the Black and White and Shades of Gray episode. How fitting that this is a story about bad weather, since snow and ice delayed the start of our 2026 radio show season. Here's MLK Day 98, Whiteouts and Black Ice. The struggle was real. Read by me, Ann Mason. Sometime in the late 90s, in a lifetime far away, I set upon a journey to visit my family in Chicago on Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend. I was living in Indianapolis at the time. Back then, such a trip would be almost a 3-hour drive, much like Gilligan's Island tour. It must have been a pretty regular visit, because I can't remember a thing about it, except the drive home. Now, one thing you must know about the Midwest is January is the second worst month of the year, only worsted by February. Snow, ice, bitter cold, wind, bone-chilling wind. The only way to manage is to plow through it, mentally. After about my third Irish goodbye, I was able to get in the car and head home late afternoon. The thing about January is, it's so cold out. I always carry a lap blanket in the car to throw over my legs and seat to hold in the heat. Most likely your coat doesn't go down far enough unless you work in downtown Chicago. Then a coat that covers your ankles is a must. Topographically speaking, Indiana is a flat ride to Indy. Translation, boring. Mama needs something to keep her awake and sharp. The month of January has Jack Frost nipping at your nose, thighs, and ankles. But just in case, there's always the relaxing sounds of WBEZ Chicago on the radio dial. As soon as I hit the highway, the snow started to fall. That just slowed everyone down to a crawl. With sunset, the temps dropped. By the time I got to Rensselaer, I saw my first semi jackknifed in the ditch. Visibility had diminished to complete white hot at times. Everyone slowed down even more as black ice took over the roads. The only way to manage that ice is to go slow. And that I did, passing a few more jackknife semis and spun-out cars. It was an eerie feeling, not only because of all the wrecks, but because of the lack of traffic. Normally on a holiday weekend, it's bumper-to-bumper traffic. Not on this day, but I kept inching my way forward. I had work on Tuesday. It took several hours to get as far as I usually did on the 3-hour trip. Still, plugging along with work looming overhead, that is, until I got to Remington. The road was blocked. They made us all exit there. Now, Remington isn't a stop I'd ever used before. For all intents and purposes, it was a trucker rest area. Here I was, a single female in her early 30s, late at night, forced to stay. I spied a second-rate trucker hotel. That left me with no choice but to make inquiry about a room, and I was told there was no room at the inn. Oh, now I'm starting to panic. Freezing to death, running the car with the heater and sub-zero temps, parked in front of the mini-mart, did not bode well for me. I pleaded my case. The clerk had mentioned a block of unfinished rooms. I told her I really didn't care what they looked like if I had heat and a lock on the door. They were renovating the bathrooms, so a full shower was out. Who needs a shower? I told her to give me a discount. Deal. I think it was midnight before I had a room and settled in. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. Work started at 8 a.m. I got up without a shower and hit the road, which was opened by then. Traffic had resumed some semblance of normalcy. I did make it to work on time. After telling my story, I was asked why I came to work. It never occurred to me to not show up. In the military, you're expected to show up no matter what. There's one thing I forgot to mention. There wasn't instant internet access readily available like it is now. I had email through a university where I took a class for fun to get a free account. But there were no weather apps keeping me up to date with temps, warnings about white hot and black ice. And back then, our ignorance was running on skill and luck. And most of us made it out all right. Thank you for tuning in to the Director's Cut podcast, a part of Storytime Radio Show. Check in next month for more stories. Storytown is supported by the Tennessee Arts Commission, Terry and Sandee Countermine, Gary and Sandee Degner, Doug and Denise Gross, Herman and Beverly Jenkins, the Wild Women of Jonesborough, and Wolfe Development.